Joe Theismann talking to Craig Hoffman about Jayden Daniels kind of getting ready for the season this upcoming year.
These guys don't even get a chance to really work together. You've got hardly any days in training camp. You're never going to see anybody get hit during the preseason. So the first time that they're really going to be involved and have any kind of contact is for the opening game. Jayden Daniels he isn't and shouldn't play in the preseason. So if he isn't going to play in the preseason, how are we going to be able to understand how good he is when he's got people around his feet? And it's a different world. It's a different world than college football.
Okay.
Wait. He said he isn't and shouldn't?
Yep. And
because basically
that made the headline, but I think his explanation makes a lot of sense.
I'm hearing two totally different things there.
Here's Theismann explaining why he doesn't think Daniels should or will play in the preseason.
Why would you put your starting quarterback out there? Let's say you got your starting offensive line. They'll probably play a series, maybe. So you give him a little chance to get his feet a little bit wet. But you don't want You don't want to risk him out there in a preseason game. Craig, they would tear Dan apart if Jayden got. They would.
You're not wrong. You're 1,000% not wrong.
So where's your risk reward? You give him a chance to grow into the position, and this is going to be with every rookie quarterback that starts. Every and any rookie quarterback that starts. I would be surprised if you see them more than a series, possibly two in the preseasons. You know they're not going to play in the third for sure. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there's a big long period of time before the opener too, as far as that goes. You know, do you really risk them out there in the second game? And the other part of it is how am I going to be able to evaluate the guys that I'm looking at to fill out the roster if I don't have them out on the field? And if I put the guys that don't have experience out there with him, I go at the risk of getting them killed. So, it's sort of a quandary, but in my mind, it's no question a decision that I don't take the chance of putting him out on that football field and having something happen to him in the preseason. And I think it's absolutely nuts. And I know that the league is driven by money, but I think it's nuts that you go to 18 games.
So I think there's the initial reaction to Jayden shouldn't and probably won't play in the preseason.
I totally disagree, and I'll tell Joe that to his face. I've said it forever. Tom Brady played in every damn preseason that he was in the NFL. Okay? And this is the problem where we say don't let him play. But how do you evaluate your team at all then? Because what you do, you put him on the field, you give him easy things to just get him in and out. When the starting offensive line leaves, he leaves. But I love to hear people say, oh, don't let him play in the preseason. But there are things that you get used to in the preseason that you don't want to just try to get used to in regular season. What if he gets hurt the first game of the damn regular season, the first series? What does that do for you? Does that help your team or hurt your team?
I think something with the injuries, I think like O-line, D-line, I think there are positions of physicality that need the game reps. I think the quarterback position you can look at a little bit different, but I think the notion of injuries, the fluctuation, the flukiness, they can happen at any moment.
Speed of the game, the quarterback making quick decisions, him getting a chemistry with his players. You don't learn that completely in practice.
I agree. But how much of that do you gain? How much do we think he will play? Maybe the first series of the first game?
If he plays the first series of the first game, I don't care what he plays, but he needs to play something. All these guys need to play something because this is the thing about football right now to me. We've gotten to a point where everybody kisses the quarterback ass so much that you don't allow your team to get even ready to play. Okay? So all of a sudden, when you go tell me if you got Pat Mahomes in Kansas City, he plays preseason. Okay?
I watched Pat Mahomes carve up the command. They were then the football. It might have been the damn Redskins.
In preseason?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jack Del Rio tried to bring all these blitzes.
But what I'm saying is he plays. So the thing of it is you still want your guy to grow. You can orchestrate. When we talk about the game plan, the first 12 plays, first 15 plays, you can do the same thing in preseason with your starting quarterback. I don't think you want to make sure these other teams that got veteran quarterbacks and veteran defenses, if they are resting completely and then they play you in the first game, you automatically are a step behind.
For me, with the preseason, I think Jayden should play. I think
he should play, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying I don't know where the notion comes of you playing tackle football, but you don't want anybody to do nothing tackling until the regular season starts. Like, if they get hurt in the first series, that doesn't hurt your team. It hurts your team even damn more because he's not ready. The rest of the team not ready. Now they got to take an adjustment because he's out, and now they got to figure out the other guy. You need to let people play. No, don't put them out there and just let people come at them crazy. But when you got a team or a coach playing against a coach that they know, they basically let people know what's happening early in the game. They try to protect each other. They try to protect each other's quarterback. They know what the league is about. But just to automatically, oh, no, he shouldn't play. In that thing Joe said,
I do think there's some value to if you don't have if you have your third string offensive line, then you don't want the kid out there.
No, that's totally understandable. Once the starting offensive line leaves, he leaves.
Right.
So you're not going, and then nobody ever does that where your starting quarterback is out there, and then when the first team go out, they keep the starting quarterback, and when the second team go, they don't do that ever.
The only time I remember that is, I think it was Gruden's first year where he had Robert out there in preseason with I feel like at least 3 of the starting offensive linemen weren't going.
We can dissect that whole little series,
but that was
whole thought process. That had all kind of crap going with it. But in real football and smart-ass people, they never leave the quarterback out there when they start putting in those other guys. Now, when the regular season starts, and if the starting left tackle get hurt and the starting right tackle get hurt, your quarterback has to play. In preseason, I understand that. But in Joe's thing, Joe stated, you have to, how are you going to build chemistry? Then he said, well, you shouldn't play. Well, you're contradicting yourself right there.
Well, 2 things. I'll point this out to I think Jayden should at least play the Miami game. Second preseason game, I think he should at least play the first quarter, if not the first half. I think at least that. I feel like this is a fair comp. The number 2 overall pick last year, C.J. Stroud, played in all 3 preseason games for Houston. I played 8 series, 11 for 18 for 90 yards with a pick and a touchdown. He won the starting job. If you remember, this sounds crazy now after the season he had, but Stroud and Davis Mills went into the offseason for a battle.
What's the little kid? I call him kid. The offense coordinator there in Houston.
Slowick.
If we go back and look at those 18 passes he threw, I guarantee you they are get the ball at your hand passes. See, the intelligent offensive coordinators, the creative ones today, they know how to get work without putting their guy in a bad situation. You get what I'm saying? Now, if you got him out there dropping back 7 steps, 5 steps, waiting for the long pass all damn game, then you're a fool. But the quick passing game is what really helps you out some, and it opens up the other stuff for you. So I will say, Cliff, we'll have to design something to where the ball comes out of Jayden's hand quickly and let him know, I don't want you getting hit. If you have to run, throw the ball to a dump off. You get what I'm saying? The whole thing is, I get so sick of hearing people discuss football as if they don't remember that there is communication in football. If I talk to a guy all week, I can make him understand what we're looking for and how you protect yourself.
There is one facet of August football that has changed, that the Commanders will be taking advantage of. And a lot of these coaches will tell you they prefer the joint practices to the actual preseason games. I want you to tell me if that impacts. I mean, you look at McVay, the Rams, more and more teams just aren't playing anybody in the preseason. Well, I do think we have to examine what the joint practices do compared to the preseason games. We kind of started on this because Theismann last week told Hoffman he doesn't think Jayden should play in the preseason. And you can understand where Joe is coming from, especially if they're still working on offensive line combinations or if one of the O-linemen can't go. Like, just for talking sake, there's not a lot of people we know definitively where they're going to play, but we know Biotish is playing center, and we believe and Cosby's playing right guard, right? Mm-hmm. Like if those two guys, week 2 in Miami, both, sprain their thumb and then don't play in the preseason game, okay. I can work my mind around that. But I don't think you can go into it thinking he's not playing at all. But one question I have for you, B.
Hmm?
Coaches around the league, we see the growth of these joint practices.
Yeah.
And coaches prefer those because they can control it. When you get out on the field for a preseason game, you got third and fourth stringers that are trying to make the team, and they're just going balls to the wall no matter what happens. And coaches no longer have control. Do you believe that the joint practice work, one day of practice against the Jets, one day of practice against the Dolphins, has more value for Jayden than the preseason games, and maybe that's a reason why they wouldn't play him?
No. I don't think it does, because if you look at them and look how close they are to the actual game, they're going to slow it down a little bit in practice, and it's going to be so much controlled to where you don't have the chance to learn a lot. You've been out at enough practices when they are blowing the whistle and showing people cards and doing this, that, and the other. That takes away the learning curve a little bit. For me, I believe that the coaches with veteran quarterbacks that getting that type of stuff, they have a chance to do that. I still believe that. See, the big thing is we talk about joint practices as if it's just happening because it's starting to come back a lot again. That's all we did back in the day. And we still played in the preseason games as well. You know what I mean? So at this point, joint practices, what the danger that a joint practice brings, if I'm at practice against my own teammates, I have an understanding we got to take care of these people.
Sure.
Joint practices, on the other hand, these dudes have been seeing their teammates all day. Now they see somebody new. They're going to go a little harder naturally.
Joint practices, you tell me what you think. 7 out of 10 times end up in fistfights? Like
No,
giant,
9 out of
uncontrollable
10
fights?
times.
Right. I mean,
every time we've seen one, we saw a fight.
Right.
Okay? So the thing of it is to think that doing a controlled thing like that, where you still are not going the speed of a game, it's going to take the place of learning the speed of the game, because the last thing I want for anybody on the football field, I don't care if it's just the quarterback, the punt returner, the punter, is the first time you see full speed NFL speed is when you're in a regular season game. I don't think that would be fair for anybody.
Landini and Jeffrey. Should Daniels play in the preseason? Will Daniels play in the preseason?
Yes and yes. He will play. He's going to get some snaps. Should he play? Yes. As we spoke last week, JP, you don't want the guy to come out there and look rusty. He's already a rookie. He got to see that live action.
Does it impact your decision at all that he's played so much football? Like, yes, he's a rookie, and the step up is significant, but this is a dude who started 5 seasons of college football.
Yeah, it does make a difference, because the thing is, this is a different level. These are pros. In college, athleticism take you a long way. In the NFL, everybody is athletic. So he needs to experience that full-fledged fire coming off the edge, because in practice, they're already going to like shelter him. So he's it's not like he's going to, experience that in practice. They're going to pull up. Nah, he need to experience a guy coming off the edge, full speed, that's not on his team, and him dealing with that.
Should he play? Will he play, Landfill?
I think he will play a little bit. Should he? I'm not so sure. I actually think that the argument that offensive line could be pretty atrocious out there, and you're potentially risking injury is pretty convincing to me. Plus, it's not like they have preseason in college, and he did pretty well there.
Yeah, but usually they play
they play pansies. That's their preseason.
Actually, though, last year they started with Florida State and lost. But regardless,
the thing what I'm trying to get at is this, man.
What do the joint practices mean to you? Not enough?
The joint practices, they give you a chance to go against somebody else, to where, let's be real, after I've gone through enough OTAs, I know every damn thing my defense is doing, right, and vice versa. Now I'm going against somebody where I have to actually study what they're doing and see something new. Okay, when the coach is sitting up there and calling out these little signals in practice, you think the offensive player, after all the time they've been together, doesn't know what he's telling the defensive player to do, and vice versa? So for me, we say oh, you're risking a chance of injury. It's damn football. If you got the best offensive line out there, you risk a chance of injury. But the ultimate thing, they brought in Allegretti to play left guard. Okay, you got Biadasz going to play center. You got Cosme is going to be your right guard. We anticipate Wally still playing at the right tackle. It's the left tackle spot that you're super concerned about. And if we've watched now for 3 to 4 years, they gave the left tackle no help.
Yeah.
Okay? I would suspect you give him a little help, you help that out of some. Because let's just be real about this thing.
Does it matter that he played 5 years of college?
Don't matter. It doesn't matter that he played 5 years because college is not the NFL.
Right.
You know, we've watched guys play 5 years of college, 4 years of college, come to the NFL and look lost. Okay? The ultimate thing is, when is he ready to play this level for this team against the people he's going to be going against? I don't think there's a team, and I know the SEC is top notch, but there's not a team in the SEC that has a defense like the damn Bills, the Chiefs, or whoever else. You know, so you got to learn this level. The thing about it is, I was taught a long time ago, when you constantly worry about injury, you think about injury, you try to avoid injury, you know what happens? You get injured. When you play football and you begin to learn the more of the instincts and things of that nature, you begin to know how to deal with this game. We watch guys get their knees hit. What I told you, every time I'm running and somebody came in, what I do? I just let my legs go. If you try to plant against that, you don't learn that in practice because that's why they don't take you to the ground anyway.
Right.
You're going to learn that in games, in preseason games. The first time they're getting hit is a regular season game if you don't let them play in the preseason.
Sure.
So
to your point, LSU last year played an SEC schedule, right? They opened the year playing against Florida State.
Mhm.
They play Bama. They play Auburn, Arkansas. I mean, they have the bowl game against Wisconsin late in the year. I mean, this is LSU. This is the SEC. First 2 games of the year for Washington. The Bucks have a player by the name of Levante David. It's probably going to the Hall of Fame.
Lives
someday.
in the backfield.
Right. And it will blow you up. I recognize he's maybe in his 30s now, but if you sleep on him, good luck. The Bucks have a player named Vita Vea, who is an All-American and is now probably in his 5th year and making about $160 million. And
the All-American thing is gone with him now. He's proved he's all pro.
At week 2, the home opener, a fella named Dexter Lawrence, going to be on that Giants defensive
lived in our
line.
backfield last year.
Kayvon Thibodeau. How does he perform against Washington?
Oh, Lord.
And I believe, Landfill, correct me if I'm wrong, did the Giants trade for Brian Burns this offseason? I believe they did.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of game action is smart. I think what you're saying about Cliff having the quick stuff ready, like you just need him to see the speed and get off the field. I'm cool with like 6 series. I don't need a lot. And a lot of the series count depends on the play count. Like one good series that goes 8 plays and you kick a 34-yard field goal, that's all I need.